Welcome back, friends. Today I'll be taking you through how I made this beautiful flower drawing using what is widely considered as the most expensive colored pencil brand in the world, and I'll be sharing my thoughts on how I feel about these pencils as we move along. I'll also be sharing a few colored pencil tips with you along the way. So these are the Luminance pencils from Caran dache. There are other types of Caran dache colored pencils, but the Luminance is at the very top of the list in terms of price. My first impression about these pencils is that they appear to be of very good quality. They also have this luxurious look and feel to them. The colors are also very vibrant and bright. Now, I use Prismacolor Premier pencils all the time, a lot more than any other color pencil brand, and in comparison, the most obvious difference at first glance is that the Luminance pencils look slightly bigger in size. They also feel slightly more premium in the hand. Both pencils, however, have a wax core, and that means they both layer very smoothly. One thing I like about the Luminance pencils is that the names of the colors are written at the very end of the pencils, so you can use the pencil for a very long time and not lose track of its name, something which usually happens to the Prismacolor pencils, and that's because the names are written in the middle of the pencil, so you might lose track of the names after sharpening the pencil beyond that point. Now let's get straight into the drawing, and as usual I've got my outline done. So I've started layering using the purple colored pencil. If you are new to colored pencil art, layering is one of the most fundamental techniques that is often used to achieve realism. It is when we shade colors one on top of the other progressively from light to dark, and that is exactly what I did here. I moved from the light purple to darker shades of red before blending it all together. If you look at some of my previous videos, you'll notice for most of them I blended using a solvent, but in this case I'm blending using a method called burnishing. This is when you press hard on the pencil as you get to the final layers in order to blend everything together. Now another way of burnishing, which is the method I actually used in this drawing, is to outright select a color that you would simply use to blend all your layers together. Now most people use the white colored pencil for this, but I usually don't do that, and I'll explain why in a bit. However, what I do is I select a color that is similar in shade to the ones I used in my final layers. This color should be lighter than the colors in my final layers. That way blending does not cause any shift in color or destroy my layers completely. For instance, my final layers in this drawing for the most part contained a lot of reds, but I used pink to blend such areas, like you can see me do in this shot. Now this is because pink is similar to red but it's lighter. That way blending does not cause any dramatic change in color, and I can always go back with my reds to adjust a few areas. Now I don't like using the white colored pencil to do this. This is because white takes a lot of vibrance away from your work. It has a taming effect that kind of washes away the color from your drawing, and I only use it to blend in areas where I don't need to retain a lot of vibrance. Now I must say these pencils feel really soft and creamy to use. They are similar to the Prismacolor pencils but feel a lot creamier, yet for some reason, even though they feel softer and creamier, they also feel more robust. It's like the Prismacolor is more likely to break in comparison to these ones. Now I must say I haven't had a lot of issues with my Prismacolor pencils when it comes to them breaking, but these feel a lot sturdier and they seem to be going through their basic techniques quite well. Now talking about the basics, don't forget to download my free guide on the basics of realistic colored pencil art, where I go through a step-by-step explanation on the basic techniques and materials needed for colored pencil art. These are the basics every colored pencil artist requires. Totally free, you can check out the link in the description. Now back to the drawing. These pencils also feel comfortable in the hand despite being slightly bigger in width than the Prismacolor pencils. Personally, I think they feel a little more comfortable in the hand when compared to the Prismacolors. Here I'm applying the same principles of layering and blending. I started off with a very light shade of color called Naples Ochre before progressing to the slightly darker tones. These pencils are definitely the best I've tried when it comes to blending. They blend so well seamlessly, one color into the other. Now as always, I can't talk about colored pencils without talking about the paper I'm using. Even though I rarely use smooth papers, this particular one from Strathmore is absolutely perfect, especially for this type of colored pencils. It's the Bristol 300 series smooth surface paper. Now normally smooth papers don't hold on to the pigments of the pencils well enough, but these ones do a pretty good job at it. The pencils seem to glide off the paper effortlessly but yet leave vibrant marks on the surface, and honestly I think I'll be using the Strathmore smooth papers more often now. Now if you're enjoying this, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips and tutorials. I've got a lot of them on here on this channel. So I seem to have spoken very highly of the caran dache Luminance pencils, and you are probably wondering if there are no downsides to using these pencils. Honestly, the main downside is the price. They can cost 2 to 3 times more than the equivalent Prismacolor pencils. Also, because they are wax based, some artists complain about not being able to create sharp details with them as they are too soft. And even though I do agree to a point, it's not a major issue. Once you get them sharpened to a point, they work just fine. Here I've got the finished work and you can tell how vibrant it looks. These are definitely a little more vibrant than the Prismacolor pencils. You can also tell the details look just fine even though these are soft core pencils. I'll definitely be using them a lot more often now, but they are very expensive. So yeah, consider subscribing to help the channel if you want to see more of such vibrant artworks. Now, what if you have cheap pencils because you can't afford these ones? Can you still get them to look great? Watch this next video to find out. I'll see you in the next one.